Hello everybody, I'm going to bring engage patient involvement. My name is Anne De Middelaer. I am the next co-chair for Engage. I'm also the chair of VZW Gyncas in Belgium, and I am also a cervical cancer survivor. I first want to give you a short introduction on what Engage is and what the mission of Engage is. Then we will talk about the clinical trial project, our involvement in the ESGO guidelines, and also in the project Quality of Life or the To My Soul series. Engage is the European network of gynecological cancer advocacy groups and has 5 main goals or missions. The first one is to facilitate development and collaboration between these European patient advocacy groups. The second one is to disseminate information and to share the best practice between all those groups. The third one is to increase the patient representation in all the ESGO activities. The fourth one is to advocate for patient care policies and access. And the last one, the fifth one, is to educate all the stakeholders. One of the most important projects that we are leading is really the clinical trial project, where we want to have the aim to incorporate the patient perspective into the design and the execution of clinical trials. This project was initiated in 2019 by ESGO Engage and ENGOT. At the moment we have 25 patients covering 12 EU countries. This project is really educate patients by webinars or live lectures. They got 3 study books and they got tested on a frequently basis. The lectures were all given by ENGOT members. The participants who, of course, passed the test got and received a certificate and a lot of knowledge. In 2025, we had a cleanup of this project where we redefined the test format and improved the quality of the questions that were asked during the test. We also mapped the patient involvement in all of Europe to see where are patients already involved in clinical trials and where not. And we also made an introduction on the patient added value flow chart so that both patient and their doctors know exactly where a patient can bring added value during the complete flow of a clinical trial. And we also have 8 new certified patients. In 2026, we are continuing, of course, with this interesting program. We are going to finalize the patient added flow chart within the clinical trial, getting input from the doctors and the patients who are involved. We will get an advanced Engage training and an education program on clinical trials. We have the aim to have 1 fully trained and certified patient expert representative in each of the European countries. We would like to have attendance at the GCA ENGOT meetings. We will have a connection of the patient and their local ENGOT doctors so that there will be a more clear collaboration. And we will also create checklists and procedures to make sure that we all work in one way, one uniform way of working. The second thing that I want to share with you is the patient perspective in the ESGO guidelines. It has the aim, of course, to bring the patient perspective into the development and the review of the guidelines. There is also 1 patient, a member of the ESGO Guidelines Committee, and 2 patients in every guideline since 2025. It brings the patient values and preferences, like the quality of life, the treatment choices, and so on. It will include the real world experience. It will bring added attention to the support shared decision making, addresses equity and access, and will consider the outcomes beyond survival. That is the voice of the patients, and that is what we aim to bring to these guidelines. In 2025, we had already the wonderful opportunity and chance to work together with the doctors and other experts on the ESGO INSIP guideline for the management of gynecological cancer during pregnancy, the ESGO ESTRO ESP guideline for the management of patients with endometrial carcinoma, the ESGO Ovarian Cancer Surgical Guidelines Update 2025, the ESGO ENGAGE ESTRO Guideline on Prevention and Management of Complications Affecting Sexual Quality of Life, and we also are working on a guide on how to collaborate as a patient, because this topic is not so easy for a patient to collaborate. In 2026, we are working on the guidelines that are still ongoing since 25, the engage-driven guideline on the sexual health, as I talked before, the ovarian cancer surgical guidelines, the update 2025, and also there will be an introduction of 2 new guidelines or a review of the guidelines for the cervical cancer and the ESGO guideline on geriatric frail patients. And the last but not the least project I want to talk to you about is the Quality of Life series. It has the aim to provide emotional and psychological support to women navigating the challenges of cancer and their partners and caregivers. During the whole year in 2025, we had monthly a webinar and a monthly a brochure on the different topics. It is actually a campaign designed to support the women throughout the cancer journey by providing their practical resources and guidance. It addresses also the need for the whole pathway of the patient, from the diagnosis to the post-treatment, ensuring access to information and assistance in every stage. And the goal is actually to ensure that no woman faces this pathway alone. So we would like to provide hope, guidance, and a compassionate community along the way. In 2025, as I talked to you, the Quality of Life series got expanded with the To My Soul series. This was really an all-included campaign by giving monthly webinars and also releasing monthly a new brochure regarding the several topics that can happen in a patient pathway from the beginning until the post-treatment, going from the shock to the fertility planning to coping mechanism to building a strong network to how to manage the fear of recurrence, and so on and so on. In 2026, we will continue with this wonderful Quality of Life project and the To My Soul series, but this time, instead of focusing on the patient, we will be focusing on the partner, the caregiver, and the family. So also provide for them the necessary information and guidance to make sure that they don't feel alone into this pathway. This was the end of my part. I like to thank you for your attendance and wish you all the best. Thank you.